Junie B. Jones has a monster under her bed. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice. Except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. I am in the grade of afternoon kindergarten. Today, we got school pictures taken at that place. School pictures is when you wear your bestest dress and you go to the cafeteria, and a cheese man is there. He makes you say cheese, only I don't know why. Then he takes pictures of you, and your mother has to buy them, or else you will get your feelings hurt. School pictures is a racket, I think. I wore my new dress with the dinosaur on the front. A dinosaur, huh? Said the cheese man. I smoothed my skirt very lovely. Yes, it is a Tyrannosaurus dotty. You mean Tyrannosaurus rex, he said. No, I mean Tyrannosaurus dotty, because Rex is the boy and Dottie is the girl, I explained. The cheese man stood behind his camera. Say cheese, he told me. Yeah, only guess what? I don't actually know why I have to say that word, because what's cheese got to do with it? Cheese makes you smile, said the cheese man. I shook my head. Not me. Cheese doesn't make me smile, I said, because sometimes I eat a cheese sandwich for lunch, and I don't even giggle when I swallow that thing. The cheese man did a big breath. Could you just say it, please? He asked. Yes, I said. I can please just say it. Only don't forget to tell me when you're ready. Because one time my grandpa Frank Miller was taking my picture, and he didn't tell me when he was ready. And then one of my eyes turned out opened, and the other one turned out closed. I made the face to show him. See? See my eyes? See how one of them is open and the other one is... All of a sudden, the cheese man took my picture. My mouth came wide open. Hey, how come you did that? How come you took my picture? Because I wasn't even ready. The cheese man kept on clicking his camera. Pretty soon, he looked at the next person in line. Next, he said. I stamped my foot. Yeah, only I wasn't ready, I tell you, and so I need another turn. Just then, my teacher came over, and she pulled me away from there. She sat next to me on a bench. Her name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I just like Mrs., and that's all. Mrs. said, settle down, to me. Then me and her watched the rest of the children get their pictures taken. My bestest friend named Lucille went next. She had a blue satin ribbon in her hair. My Nana says this ribbon brings out the blue in my eyes, she told the cheese man. She opened them real wide. See them? See their color? They are robin's egg blue with just a hint of lavender. The cheese man sucked in his cheeks. He's getting frustration in him, I think. Could you please just say cheese? He grouched. Semille smiled real big with her teeth. Cheese, she sang very loud. Cheese, cheese, cheesy, cheese, cheese. Then she kept on singing cheese till the cheese man said, knock it off. After she was done, Lucille skipped over to me and Mrs. Did you see me? She asked. Did you see how good I said cheese? That's because I'm going to be a model when I grow up, so I already know how. She fluffed her hair. The camera is my friend. Mrs. rolled her eyes way up to the ceiling. I looked up there too, but I didn't see anything. After that, it was time for the class picture. The class picture is when all of room 9 lines up in 2 rows. The biggie kids stand in the back, and the shorty kids stand in the front. I am a shorty kid, only that is nothing to be ashamed of. I stood next to Polly Allen Puffer. He looked very admiring at my dinosaur dress. Dinosaurs bite people's heads off, he said. I did a frown. Yeah, only they don't even scare me, because there's no such thing as dinosaurs anymore, I told him. So, there's still such a thing as monsters that can bite your head off, said Polly Allen Puffer. A monster lives right under your bed, I bet. My bigger brother says that everybody has a monster under their bed. He's poked his finger at me. Even you, Junie B. Jones, he said. I got shivers on my arm. No, I don't either, Polly Allen Puffer, I said. Yes, you do too. he said back. My brother is in the 7th grade, and he says monsters wait till you're asleep. And then they crawl up next to you and lie down on your pillow, and he practices fitting your head in his mouth. I covered up my ears, but Polly Allen Puffer talked louder. I can even prove it, he said. Didn't you ever wake up with a drool spot on your pillow? I thought very hard. Yeah, so? So where do you think it came from, he asked. It came from the monster under your bed. That's where. It was monster drool, Junie B. Jones. I shook my head real fast. No, it was not, Polly Allen Puffer. You stop saying that, and I mean it. He raised up his eyebrows. Well, where did it come from then? You don't drool on your pillow, do you? You're not a baby, are you? He said. No, don't call me that. I am not a baby, I yelled. Polly Allen Puffer crossed his arms. So where did the drool come from then? He asked. I don't know, I said. But my daddy told me there's no such thing as monsters. So what? Daddies have to say that, said Polly Allen Puffer. That's so you go to sleep at night and not bother them. He squinted his eyes at me. Why do you think daddies and mommies sleep together in the same room anyway? It's so they can protect each other from the monsters, or else their heads might get chewed off. Just then I wrinkled up my nose at that terrible thought. Then I hanged out my tongue and I did a sick face. And guess what? The cheese man took the class picture. Chapter 2. Just Say Right. After school pictures, we went back to room 9. I put my head down on the table. There's no such thing as monsters. There's no such thing as monsters, I whispered, just to myself. 'Cause my very own daddy told me that. He wouldn't even lie to me. Probably. Mrs. said for me to sit up in my chair. She passed out work for us to do. It was called printing our letters. Only I didn't actually feel like doing that. I tapped my bestest friend named Lucille. Guess what, Lucille? There's no such thing as monsters. There's really, really not. And so a monster doesn't even live under my bed, probably. Right, Lucille? Right? Right? Shh, I'm doing my letters, she said. Yes, Lucille, I know you are doing your letters. Only I just wanted to tell you about the monster, because he's not even real, right? Lucille didn't say right. How come you're not saying right, Lucille? Right? Just say monsters aren't real, and I won't even bother you anymore. All of a sudden, Lucille did a mad breath. Now look at what you made me do, Junie B. You made me ruin my big G. I told you, do not bother me. She quick grabbed her paper and run to Mrs. to fix it. I tapped my fingers on my table, and then I turned around and looked behind me. I had smiled at a boy named Crybaby William. Guess what, William? There's no such thing as monsters. And so a monster doesn't even live under my bed, right? William, probably, right? Right? William moved his seat away from me. I followed him in my chair. I'm right, don't you think, William? A monster really doesn't live under my bed, does he? And plus, also, he doesn't put my head in his mouth. William slid his chair away from me some more. I scooted after him. Just say right, okay, William? Just say there's not a monster under my bed, and I will be on my way. William picked up his chair and carried it all the way to the middle of the floor. And that's how come I had to carry my chair to the middle of the floor, too. I sat down and smiled very sweet. Right, William? I'm right, aren't I said. Only too bad for me, 'cause just then I felt my hands on my shoulders. I looked up. It was Mrs. I did a gulp. Hello, how are you today? I said, kind of nervous. Mrs. zoomed my chair back to my table. It was not fun. I picked up my pencil. Guess what? I'm going to do my work now, I said. Plus also, I'm not even going to talk. Because I don't actually like anyone in this area. Mrs. tapped her foot at me. Love your shoes, I said real tough. She kept tapping. Only just then, a very great thing happened, and it is called the bell rang for the end of school. I hurried up out of the door. Then me and my other bestest friend named Grace run to the bus together. Grace, 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 guess what? There's no such thing as monsters. And so I don't even have one under my bed, probably. Right, Grace? Right? That Grace didn't say right. That's how come I grabbed her by her shoulders and jiggled her. Because I was fed up with these people, that's why. How come you won't say right, Grace? How come nobody will say right? Because I'm getting at the end of my rope with this thing. That Grace took my hands off of her. I can't say right because a monster really might live under your bed, Junie B. My eyes got big and wide at her. No, Grace, don't say that. Do not say a monster might live right under my bed. Because that can't even be true, or else I would have spotted that guy by now. No, you wouldn't, she said. My big sister said that monsters can turn themselves invisible when we look at them. And so that's how come nobody can see them. That Grace looked serious at me. That makes sense, don't you think? Huh, Junie B? Right? Just then my throat got dry. And my stomach got the shakies, and I look out the window very upset. I didn't say right. Chapter 3. The Invisiblest Guy. I ran in my house and hollered for my grandma, Helen Miller. Grandma Helen Miller, I am so glad to be home, because today was not a very good day at my school. Grandma Miller was in the kitchen. She was holding my baby brother named Ollie. I jumped up and down in front of her. Pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. I can't right now, Toots, she said. I've got my handful with Ollie. Yeah, only put him on the floor, because I need a hug right now, Helen. Grandma Miller leaned down and hugged me. She said don't call her Helen. Why don't you go change your clothes, she said. Then you and I will make some popcorn. And you can tell me all about your day. How does that sound? Just then my whole face got happy. Because popcorn is my most favorite thing in the whole world. Hooray! Hooray! I shouted hooray for popcorn. I ran right to my room, and then I took my shoes and socks off, and my feet did a happy dance on the floor. It's called the Happy Feet Popcorn Dance. They danced around and around, and they jumped on my bed, and they sprang to the floor and did a giant twirly on my rug. I clapped my hands real joyful. Grandma, hey Grandma, guess what? I'm having a good time in here, and so I'm not even thinking about the monster under my bed. Just then I did a gulp, 'cause I shouldn't have said that, I think. I looked at my bed kind of nervous. What if the monster was under there right this very minute? And what if he was looking at my piggy toes? And what if he wanted to eat them? Oh no, I said. Oh no, oh no, oh no. 'Cause piggy toes look just like little wiener sausages, I think. I freeze right where I was standing. Grandma Miller, come quick, I need you, I shouted. Grandma Miller flied to my room. Then she picked me up and hugged me real tight. What on earth is the trouble? She sat down with me on my bed. No, Grandma, no, we can't sit here. I squeezed out her arms and ran out of the door. There's a monster under my bed, I yelled. I jumped up and down. Run, Helen, run like the wind. Only Grandma Helen didn't run. She just flopped on her covers and she closed her eyes. No, Junie B, please, we're not going to go to the monster business again, are we? We talked about monsters before. Remember? We decided that there was no such thing as monsters. Yes, but I have new information. Because the monsters under my bed, turns out he turns himself invisible whenever we look at him. Plus, at night, after my eyes are closed, he climbs next to me and he puts my head in his mouth. Grandma Miller did a big breath. She went to the kitchen and she brought back Daddy's flashlight. She shined it under the bed. No monsters, Junie B. None. I don't see a single monster under the bed. See, I said, that proves it. He turned himself invisible. Grandma Miller shook her head. No, Junie B., the monster did not turn himself invisible. No, he didn't. He does not exist, period. Yes, he did, Grandma. He does too exist. Because Polly Allen Puffer's big brother even said so. Plus, I've also seen the drool. Grandma Millard said to calm down my voice. She got me a drink of water. Why don't we forget about the monster for now, and we'll go make popcorn. We can talk to your mother about this when she gets home. I bet Mother will know exactly what to do. I thought and thought. What, Grandma? What will she do? All of a sudden, a light bulb went off in my head. Hey, I know what she'll do. Mother will get the broom and bash the monster's head in, because I saw her do that to a roach before, and she is excellent at it. Grandma Miller closed her eyes again. She said, I am a strange one. Chapter 4. Spooky and Scary. Pretty soon Mother came home from work. I zoomed to her speedy quick and handed her the broom. Mother, 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 come on! Let's go. Let's go get the monster, I hollered. Mother turned her head real slow and she looked at Grandma Miller. Grandma sucked in her cheeks. A monster? She said, kind of quiet. Under the bed? We've been waiting for you to come home, so you can bash its head in. I tugged at her sweater. Plus, tell Grandma about the drool, Grandma. But Grandma Miller headed to the door, and she said the words, I'm out of here. I pulled on my mother's arm. Come on, come on, come on, Mother. The monster's really real. Because Polly Allen Puffer told me every monster under the bed, plus that Grace said it can turn invisible. And so that is how come we never seen that guy before. Mother sat down at the kitchen table, and she lifted me onto her lap. Then she said that Polly Allen Puffer was just trying to scare me. Plus that Grace didn't know what she was talking about. There's no monster under your bed. Monsters are not real, she said. Yes, they are. They are too real, because Polly Allen Puffer's brother said so. And he is in 7th grade. And he said monsters crawl in your bed, and they can fit your head in their mouth. And so that is where the drool comes from, because I am not even a baby. Just then I heard the front door open. It was my daddy. He was home from work too. Daddy, 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 there's a monster under my bed. Only you said monsters aren't real, but they really, really are. I pulled on his arm. Come on, Daddy, let's get him. Daddy looked at Mother a real long time. They went in the hall and did whispering. Pretty soon, Daddy came back to me. He said we would look for the monster after dinner, but first we could cook some hamburgers on the grill. Oh boy, I said, oh boy, because hamburgers are my most favorite thing in the whole wide world. Plus, I love spaghetti and meatballs. After that, me and Daddy went outside. He got a flipper for the hamburgers. Then he gave me a flipper too, because I'm old enough, that's why. I runned all over with that thing. I flipped a rock and a flower and a dirt ball. Plus, I also flipped a dead lizard I found in the driveway. Then Mother took my flipper away, because I'm not old enough, that's why. After dinner, I took my bath. Then Mother and Daddy read me a story, and they hugged me goodnight. See you in the morning, said Mother. See you in the morning, said Daddy. I sat up in my bed. Yeah, only I can't even sleep in here, 'cause you guys didn't bash the monster yet. Daddy rubbed his tired eyes. There's no monster, Junie B. There was nothing to be afraid of. Then he kissed me, and he went out of my room, and Mother went with him. I got out of bed and followed those two. They turned around and spotted me. Hello, how are you today? I said, very pleasant. I'm going to sit in the kitchen and not bother anyone. Plus, also, I might watch Eyewitness News at 10. Mother carried me back to bed. I followed her out again. Want to bake a lemon pie? A lemon pie would be fun, don't you think? I asked. This time, Mother marched me back to my room real fast. Do not get up again, Junie B, she said. Enough is enough. I waited for her feet to walk away. Then I tippy-toed to my baby brother's room, and I climbed into his crib. It was very crowded in there, and that's how come I had to get out and put baby Ollie on the floor. Then I climbed in his crib again, and I pulled at the blanket all warm and cozy. Only too bad for me, because just then that crybaby started to scream. Daddy runned in the room real speedy quick. He turned on the light and saw me. I did a gulp. Hello, how are you today? I am all warm and cozy, I said, kind of nervous. Daddy quick swished me out of there. Then he put baby Ollie back in the crib, and he took me to my bed again. Okay, this is it, he grouched. This is the last time I want to come in here. Do you understand me, Missy? Do not get out of your bed one more time. I started to cry a teeny bit. Yeah, only what about the monster, I said, 'cause he's still under my bed, I think. Daddy throwed his hands up in the air. Then he turned on my light and he looked for the monsters all over the place. First, he looked under my bed. Then he looked in my closet and in my drawers and in the trash can. Plus, also, he looked in my crayon box. No monsters, Junie B. No monster anywhere. You're going to have to believe me. Monsters are not real. He sat down on my bed. I'm going to go now, he said. I'm going to leave your door open, and I'm going to leave the hall light on. But this is it, okay? You have to trust me, Junie B. There is no monster under your bed. I holded on to his shirt. Yeah, only tuck in my sheets, okay? Tuck them in real tight, or my feet might hang over the side, and piggy toes look like little wiener sausages. Daddy tucked in my sheets. There. Now, good night. Yeah, only get my teddy, okay, Daddy? Plus get my Raggedy Ann named Ruth, and get my Raggedy Ann named Larry, and get my stuffed valet named Philip Johnny Bob. Daddy got all those guys for me. He tucked them into my bed. There. That's it. Now, good night, he said. He walked out of the room, and he kept going down the hall. I looked all around it in the dark. It was spooky and scary in there. Philip Johnny Bob wants a drink of water, I shouted out real loud. I waited and waited. Yeah, only really he needs one, on account of he's having a problem with his trunk. Daddy didn't come. Raggedy Ruth needs a Kleenex, I yelled next. After that, my voice got quieter. Raggedy Larry wants a cookie, I said. But still, Daddy didn't come. Chapter 5. My worstest night ever. It was my worstest night ever. I didn't sleep any winks. That's because I had to keep my eyes open, or else the monster wouldn't stay invisible. I heard Mother and Daddy go to bed. Good night, everybody. Good night. It's me. It's Junie B. Jones. I'm still awake in here because I can't even close my eyes or that monster will come. Mother and Daddy didn't yell back. Plus, here's another thing I need to tell you. Don't turn out the hall light. Plus, don't shut my door. Plus, don't shut your door either. Go to sleep, grouched Mother. I smiled, very relieved. It was good to hear your voice, I said, kind of quiet. After that, Daddy and Mommy got into bed, and they turned out their light. Daddy started to snore. Oh no, now he won't even be awake to see if the monsters will come. I pulled Philip Johnny Bob out of my covers. I will save you, he said. I will squirt water in the monster's face. Plus, I will stomp on him with my giant elephant feet. And so now you can close your eyes, and you don't even have to worry about that guy. I looked and looked at him. Yeah, only here's the problem, I said. You're not actually strong because you're just fluffy in you. Plus, also, you can't really squirt water. And so who am I kidding here? Philip Johnny Bob stared at me real long. Then he went back under the covers. All of a sudden, I heard feet in the hall. It was monster feet, I think. They kept getting closer and closer to my room. Then pretty soon they run right in my room, and guess what? It was my dog Tickle. That's what. Tickle, Tickle, I'm so glad to see you because now you can protect me from all the monsters. And so that's why I didn't think of this before. I pulled back my covers and patted for him to jump up. Here, Tickle, you can sleep right on my pillow because Mother won't even find out about this. Tickle springed right up there. He run all around my bed. He put his head under my sheets and run down to my feet. No, Tickle, no, no, you have to come back up here, or else how will you protect me? I pulled him back up. He put his paws on Raggedy Larry, and he chewed his red hair. No, Tickle, no, no, I said. Just then, Tickle springed over me, and he landed on my elephant named Philip Johnny Bob. He holded him by the trunk, and he shook that guy all around. I saved Philip Johnny Bob just in time, and then I pushed Tickle off my bed, and he ran out of my room. Philip Johnny Bob was very upset. I petted his trunk. Also, I hugged Raggedy Larry. Only too bad for me, because just then Raggedy Ruth fell right out of my bed, on the account of the dumb sheets weren't tucked in anymore. Me and Raggedy Larry peeked over the side. Get her, said Raggedy Larry. Yeah, only I can't get her, I said, real upset, or else the monster will grab my hand and pull me right under the bed. I thought about what to do. Then all of a sudden, I picked up all my friends in my arms. We have to make a run for it, I told them. We have to sleep with Mother and Daddy tonight, because we will be safe with them. Plus, they won't even know we're there probably, because their bed is the size of a king. I stood on the side of my bed. Then I jumped out of the middle of the floor, and I quick picked up Raggedy Ruth, and I ran to Mother and Daddy's room. They were sleeping and snoring. Shh, I said to Raggedy Larry. Shh, I said to Philip Johnny Bob. Then all of us crawled down the middle of their bed and sneaked under the covers. Only too bad for me, because Mother rolled right over Philip Johnny Bob's trunk, and it waked her up. She turned on the light. I did a gulp. Hello, how are you today? Me and my friends are sleeping here, because we didn't think you'd mind, probably. Mother carried me back to my room zippity quick. Then she leaned close to my ear, and she did a very scary teeth with her mouth closed. Do not get out of the bed one more time, she said. And so guess what? I didn't. Chapter 6. Flatsos. The next day at school, I was pooped and tired. I opened one eye with my fingers and I drawed a picture for her. It did not turn out that professional. After that, I holded up my head with my hands and I waited for school to be over. Me and that Grace rode home on the bus together. I yawned and yawned. Darn it, Grace. I wish you never told me about monsters can turn invisible, because now I can't even close my eyes at night. I can, said that Grace. That's because I don't have a monster in my bed anymore. My mom figured out how to get rid of it. My eyes got big and wide. How did she do that, Grace? Easy, said Grace. First, she sucked it up with the vacuum cleaner. And then she put the vacuum cleaner bag in the trash compactor. And then she squished the monster into a flatso. Just then, I hugged and hugged that girl, because that was brilliant, of course. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, thank you. Because I have a vacuum cleaner right in my very own home. Oh no. After I got off my bus, I zoomed to my house speedy fast. Grandma Miller, I know how to get rid of the monster, I hollered. Grandma Miller came to my door. Then I run to the closet and got my mother's vacuum cleaner, and I pulled that big thing all the way to my room. I told her all about how to get rid of the monster, and guess what? She was a good sport about it. First, she plugged the vacuum cleaner right into the wall. Then she pulled it under the bed. and then she sucked the monster right up from there. Hooray, hooray, you got him, you got the monster, Grandma, I yelled, real thrilled. Grandma Miller runned with the bag to the kitchen, and she throwed it in the trash can. There, that ought to do the trick, she said, very happy. And I looked. Then I did a teeny frown. Yeah, only there's a problem, Grandma. You didn't actually put the bag in the trash compactor, and that is what turns the monster flatso. Grandma Miller smiled. Yes, but this house doesn't have a trash compactor. Junie B. Jones, your monster will just have to stay in the vacuum cleaner bag. My frown got bigger. Yeah, but what if it leaks out, Grandma? Then maybe he might float in the air and get all the way back to my room. And he would get under my bed again. Grandma Miller tapped the counter with her fingers, then cheeks filled up with air, and she let it out real slow. Okay, how about this? What if I take it outside? I'll take the bag outside, and then push it way down in the big garbage can. And I'll press the lid down really tight so he can't get out. Yeah, but he won't be flat, so I said, very whining. Then Grandma Miller got frustration in her. She grabbed the vacuum cleaner bag and ran outside. She put it on the driveway, and she got in her car, and she backed up over the thing with her tires. Pretty soon she came back in the house. She brushed her hands together. There, now he's flatso, she said, kind of growly. After she left, I got on the couch and I started to get nervous at the driveway. Because guess why? The car is not a trash compactor. That's why. Chapter 7, Snarlies and Snufflies. That night I heard snarlies under my bed. Mother said it was my imagination. This is not my imagination, I said. I can hear the snarlies. Plus, also I hear snarlies and snufflies and droolies. Mother rolled her eyes way up to the ceiling. Honestly, Junie B., where in the world do you get this stuff, she asked. It just automatically comes to my head, I said. It is a gift, I think. After that, I begged to sleep in her bed. But Mother said no. Then Daddy said no, too. You have to trust us, Junie B. We would never let anything hurt you. There's nothing in your room to be afraid of. And so that's how come I got to sleep in my own bed for the whole entire night. Plus, also, I had to sleep there the next night, too. And the next night. And the night after that. That was the night when the worst of all happened, because I accidentally sleep too much, and the monster must have crawled to my bed, because in the morning there was drool on my pillow. I screamed very loud when I felt it. Help! Help! There's drool on my pillow, I said. There's drool. Told you. I ran in Mother and Daddy's room and showed them my pillow. Mother holded her head. When is this ever going to end, she said. When are you ever going to realize there's no such thing as monsters? She did not wait for me to answer. Everyone drools on their pillow sometimes, she said. It doesn't mean you're a baby. Your mouth just opens when you're sleeping, and you drool for a little bit. And it's no big deal, and it's not for monsters. And after that, she went out of her room to the kitchen, and Dad went to get Ollie, and I crawled into her bed and counted my piggy toes. Good news, there was 10. I crawled into her That day at kindergarten, Mrs. had a surprise for us. She called our school pictures were back from the cheese man, and she passed them out to us. Lucille got hers first. My eyes popped out at those things. Lucille, how gorgeous they are. They're the most gorgeous pictures I ever saw. Lucille fluffed her fluffy dress. I know it. I know they are gorgeous. That's just how I look, Junie beamed. I can't even help it. After that, Lucille stood up on the table and she held up her pictures for everyone to see. Mrs. told her to sit down. Just then, Mrs. bended down next to me. She smoothed my hair. Junie B, honey, you might want to have your pictures taken again, she said, kind of quiet. She then handed me my envelope real secret, so nobody could see it. I sneaked a peek at those. My stomach felt sickish inside. I think I look like I stink, I said. I quick tried to hide my pictures, but Lucille grabbed them away from me. Ew, gross, she said. Junie B, you look gross. I tried to grab them back. Yeah, only these are not even your beeswax, madame, I yelled very loud. Only too bad for me, because lots of the other kids already saw them, and they laughed and laughed at those things. Finally, I grabbed my pictures back, and I hid them in my coat. And I didn't talk to room 9 for the whole rest of the day. Chapter 8, Scary Face Meme. After I got home from school, I sat on my bed and I looked at my pictures. I hate these ugly dumb things, I said, furious. These are the ugliest dumb pictures I ever saw. I leaned over the edge and holded my pictures down there. And see this? See this, you stupid monster? This picture is just scary as you. And so maybe I might put it right under my bed, and it would scare your whole entire pants off. Just then I sat up very straight. Because that might be a good idea, I just thought of. I quick found my scissors, and then I cut my school pictures apart from each other, and I shoved them right under my bed. I am not even afraid of you, dumb monster, because these ugly pictures can bite your head off. Then I heard Mother come in home from work. Mother. Oh, Jesus Christ. She bended down and picked up a picture. Her mouth did a gasp. Oh my, she whispered. I clapped and clapped. I know they are, oh my. This is why I put them under my bed. Get it, Mother? Get it? Now my scary face will be down there all the time, and so that monster will already get scared away. I bet. All of a sudden, Mother started to laugh. Then I started to laugh too. Plus, here's another happy thing. 'Cause this morning there was drool on my pillow. Only I'm not worried. 'Cause it was from Raggedy Ruth, I bet. Or else, maybe it was Philip, Johnny, Bob. Or maybe it was even from me. 'Cause everybody drools on their pillow once in a while. And my very own mother told me that. And she would not lie to me. Probably.